Okay, welcome back to the Payments Innovation Track. Our 12:30 session next is coming from Felix Margot, the co-founder of Dash Next, and we're going to be looking at blockchain and the future of payments. If you'd like to get involved with the discussion, please do, as you've been doing all morning, just take a look to the right of the video screen. If you're watching on a computer, you can get involved in the live discussion and chat boxes, or if you're watching on the app, then just click the live discussion button underneath the video and you can be part of it. Thank you again, and Felix, over to you.
Hi everyone, my name is Felix Margot. I'm the co-founder of Dash Thailand and Dash Next. Dash is one of the oldest and quite large cryptocurrency projects out there, so I'm very happy that I am invited here today to speak about blockchain and the future of payments. Thanks very much for Seamless, first of all, to invite me here. I find it very exciting and I'm very happy that you guys are bringing the spotlight to the Asian ecosystem, because it's definitely worth exploring, especially when we are talking about the payment space and the payment industry. So first of all, maybe a little bit of an intro for myself. I have been a consultant, or I've been working as a consultant in the financial industry for over a decade. First, that was very marketing oriented, and it turned more and more in the direction of digital innovation. So I was helping banks and financial institutions to come to the next level of their IT infrastructure and to explore business potentials, what new technologies bring to the financial industry. 5 years ago, I completely, or 6 years ago now even, I completely turned my career into the blockchain space and working with Dash now for a few years, really exploring payment on all verticals, especially here in the Asian ecosystem. I'm based here out of Bangkok, which is definitely a great hub, to go all around Asia and to create partnerships, because one thing I can assure you is that this blockchain space is an extremely fast moving industry, and it's key to have, your local networks everywhere in order to make partnerships happen, in order to create something new. So again, I'm very happy to talk about the future of payments. So let me share my screen now. So you should be able to see it now. Again, blockchain and the future of payments is the topic for today. And I want to give a little bit of an intro, what Dash is, where I come from, where I am mainly busy with in my daily life. Go from there to describe a little bit of the challenges I see in the industry and where blockchain actually really can provide value, and then finish up with some examples and finish up with showing you all, what is possible already and what can immediately be done. So Dash, I said it already, Dash stands for digital cash. So there's many crazy blockchain projects out there. I think Dash has a very classic use case in terms of cryptocurrency, which is payment. We want to be the digital cash of the modern world. We are global, you can send money instantly. It's super easy to use. So we very much focus on usability, on, having fun paying, which might be sometimes a contradiction. You probably know all that. Everybody who is working in the industry, most regular customers are not so excited about payment as we are. But hey, it's on us to communicate the fun about it. So quickly about Dash. We are one of the older cryptocurrency projects out there, not to say one of the oldest. Since 2014, we launched. That was way before everybody was talking about ICOs. That was actually way before we had all these exchanges, before this ecosystem was so big. In fact, I actually remember my first meetups in the space, which were around that time, and it was like maybe 5 people in the room, everybody wearing glasses like me, and like felt that something exciting is going on there. And since then, a lot has happened. Again, the fact that we are here at like a very professional conference with Seamless, that where many of the big industry players from like what we in the blockchain space say the old world are invited. It's it proves a point that we have come somewhere, and that actually in that short piece of time, so much has happened. Mm. By now, we are still in the top rankings from all the cryptocurrency projects out there. I mean, you can imagine, I said it's over 5,000, probably it's way more by now. Many more cryptocurrencies are out there, you know, small projects, large projects. So I'm very, very happy that we are still one of the top dogs and the old dogs in the space. We have around the 700 million market cap. And one thing which is very important, we have a very high liquidity. That means, you know, whenever you want to sell your Dash or whenever you want to buy Dash, you will find a seller or a buyer on the other side. And of course, you know, if you want to be a payment coin, that is definitely one key factor. So we are not only that, but we are also integrated in most of the cryptocurrency exchanges out there, always in conversation to integrate the latest features. So I'm, you know, very happy how things are moving with Dash. One thing that is very distinct with Dash, I said already, we are payment focused. So we want to do one thing and one thing very good, that is payments. And in order to do that good, obviously one thing is important. It's important that you get fast confirmations, because of course, who wants to wait an hour until, you know, your payment confirmation is confirmed, and the shop owner might be a barista or something. You know, you have your coffee and you have to wait for 1 hour. So until the barista lets you go, that should not happen. And that's why we are very happy to have this feature as a standard. So every time somebody sends Dash from one person to another or from one person to a shop, you can get an instant confirmation really within seconds. So I can highly recommend everybody to try it out. Another thing that is very interesting and often overlooked, actually, Dash has implemented since it starts many great features that really are top notch on a technical level and top notch in the blockchain space. One of them is a feature called chain lock. And I do not want to talk about too much technicalities and technical details today, but what it does essentially, it prevents that the network can be taken over. You might have heard of a 51% attack in the blockchain space. That in short means that, you know, there is a bunch of miners in the whole ecosystem, and when you take over 51% of these nodes of the miner mining hashing power, you are able to kind of take over the network. In Dash, there is some kind of a second layer on top of this, which means you would have to take over both of these networks, which obviously exponentially increases the security of this network, because it exponentially increases the cost you would have to do so. So that's why Dash definitely has one very interesting secure feature, and we call it chain lock. So please reach out to me later if you want to know more. But not only that, you know, Dash is a very interesting project. We're in fact a decentral autonomous organization. I can talk hours about what that means, but essentially it means we are an organization without official hierarchy, without a formal hierarchy, without a CEO. Dash is essentially code running in the internet. It's a blockchain, and it has an organization system on top of that, a governance system that enables people all over the world to participate. On this map, you see on the right side, Dash Next and Dash Philippines, Dash Thailand. So these are the projects I co-founded. And of course, we have teams all around the world. Everybody focused a little bit on different things. And in a minute, I will talk about that. Also focus, you know, on different markets, because obviously you need different strategies if you want to do payments all over the world. So I'm very happy we have, you know, strong presence in Latin America. We have the core team in the States who are taking care about, you know, the blockchain and upgradability and all of that. We have a team in Europe. We are in Africa. So you can fairly say we are all around the world. I think one thing which does not come to a surprise for everyone who is working in the payment industry is that payment is not the same wherever you are, what industry you are, where you are in the world. It's actually so detailed, it's everybody from the outside looks at it and, does not see those differences. But I mentioned it before, even the fact that we are now in Asia tells a story. Me personally, I am German, and it's kind of a classic German story that does not matter where you go, please bring your cash, because credit cards are not accepted and other payment systems do not even seem to be invented in Germany, right? Whereas in Asia, it's like super normal that everybody pays with mobile phones, maybe with cash. Credit cards are not really so common, so some markets are more cash oriented, some are more mobile, some are more card oriented. It really does matter where you are, and obviously, there are different rules, there are different fees, different regulations that all come together and make a payment market a payment market. I guess it's also fair to say, that in general, we are seeing an evolution in the payment industry, and obviously we're going away from paper. We had plastic for a long time, and again, here in Asia, I really feel we even skipped the credit card and plastic card payments, because like they were not there 10 years ago, and now everywhere I go, I can pay with my mobile phone, and it's like super normal that everything works with QR codes. There are direct bank integrations, and I really have to say, I mean, again, I'm German and was very used to transferring my friend's money from one bank to another bank, from one account to another account, and you have to wait 2-3 days. And it's like, everybody, that's super normal. Now here in Thailand, I open my regular banking app. I can send a friend money by just by tapping or by using his bank unique QR code. The money is instantly there. I don't even need to bring my banking card anymore. If I go to the ATM, I just enter a code, the money comes out. So it's really another level, I would even say, and I mean, if you look at the statistics also, I think there you can see exactly that point, because more and more, in Asia, the digital payments are really on the rise, much more than anywhere else. So in general, we're really seeing, a change from offline to online payments. Solutions are becoming more and more global, like international bank transfers and all that. It's, less and less a topic, and that is obviously reflected to everything we see in the internet, and what the new companies coming up, the whole blockchain space evolving. But it's not only blockchain, it's also AI, it's Internet of Things, and most of these things you will find payment verticals and payment elements in these new systems that are designed. So I think this is very interesting to consider. I mentioned already, we are here in Asia, and this is kind of what you right now see. It's kind of the picture that is completely normal when you go out to a restaurant. It's usual that somebody has like 50 different stickers with QR codes on their door, because for them it doesn't hurt. Like one QR code is kind of like the other. For the merchant and for the restaurant, it doesn't matter, as long as the money I pay as a customer goes to their bank account. They don't care what QR code they show. At the end of the day, the customer. So additional payments that are hassle-free and risk-free for a merchant are usually a good point to enter these markets, and once they come more, usually does not hurt as well. So it's quite of a normal picture that you have all these QR codes very visible everywhere. And I said before, I come from the background of digital innovation, especially in the financial industry. So I was consulting a lot of banks. The last thing what was very, very, very big topic was GDPR, so the data protection rules in the European Union. And what happens in the IT back end, if you really dig a little deeper, go basement and go to these dusty server rooms, you will find out that you know, it's not new what is there, and like all the architecture, all the systems that are used, they are really fairly set legacy systems. So sometimes, you know, it's like they were built in the 80s, and since then you upgrade them, you tweak them here and there. You have to comply with new regulations, so you kind of have to put them in, which in many cases leads to a situation where kind of a bank would not be operational anymore if you take away the army of external people taking care and pampering their systems, that, you know, nothing falls apart. And, you know, I understand completely that you will not upgrade just like that. But I mean, I think it's a fair comparison to say that software development is kind of like, you know, building a house. If you have a shack and you just put on top of it a skyscraper, it will most probably be not such a good design. You know, if you want to build a skyscraper, you first have to take away the shack and rebuild the whole house, make a basement, you know, make a proper architecture. And I think it's the same way technology works. And one important thing I have learned in the last years is that actually, if you want to do digital business, you have to think digital in your business, and you have to design your business around all these things, all technology, you know, and you have to think it together in order to make a better business case. So I think, you know, for the old legacy payment industry, blockchain in general brings really a lot of great advantages. So number one, I said it with the feature we call Instant Send. It's super fast. You don't have to wait long. You know, it's like an international bank transfer that takes less than 2 weeks is a fast bank transfer. And if we would go into the details, you know, what is happening on the SWIFT and interbank communication level to send these messaging packets all around the world, and to have confirmations on all the way, and you see all the things that can go wrong on that way, 2 weeks is not that long. So with blockchain, really, you can be sure you can send stuff all around the world. It does not matter how much it is, you know, it will come super fast. It will come almost feeless. And also there, it doesn't matter how much it is. Obviously, we have so far proven that this new technology is a super safe one, because actually we are, you know, external or crowdsourcing all the security. We don't have a single point of failure anymore. And one thing that now comes more and more into the business and business world of blockchain and payments is the fact that you can program things. So you can do very complex if this then that business operations that you can predefine that simply were not possible before, without having always a break where middlemen came in and, you know, had to do something or had the right to control something. So now you're like very, very flexible on stuff you can do. And I think especially that element, we have not seen much yet what can be done. At the same time, I mean, if you're working to blockchain, you know very well that people do not necessarily trust you all the way, or think that you are now the savior of the new world with the great technology. It's rather the opposite. So people look at you up and say, oh my God, this is it a scam? Can I trust in this? No, my mom once said to me, is that really legal what you do? And like, why don't you have a normal job? Something like that. So, you know, you have to fight these arguments, and I understand that. I mean, there has been a lot of bad actors and bad things happen. But even though this is the case, I think we are on a very, very good way to get over these, I would say, mostly wrong assumptions. And I mean, one thing we can really see is that the industry is growing up. A recent Deloitte study has shown that, you know, from industry participants for this survey, you can really see an increase in blockchain solutions where people say, I more and more trust this technology. I really believe that this technology can bring new and important features to the business we do. Obviously, also there is more and more people saying, it's like a buzzword and hype, because so far we still have to prove a lot. But I see more and more applications in big corporations, are implemented, are considered, are planned, are architectured. So a lot of cool stuff has come out really from the conception and fantasy phase now to running and implemented technologies within organizations. But it's not only the organizations, more importantly even, it's the users that are growing massively, and I mean, it's little to no surprise that the personas of these users are, mostly young, mostly male, mostly tech savvy. But I mean, it's also not surprising that exactly this kind of persona is really a constantly growing customer group. So this survey, I found that a bit funny, shows, especially with COVID crisis and no government banks pumping money into markets, people not necessarily completely have trust in this system. So many people, say, I would prefer to buy Bitcoin than I buy a property right now. So this is very, very interesting. And I think more and more people are aware of it. Also, the more studies I see, the more people have heard of Bitcoin, are interested, especially if you are young. So I think this is a very interesting persona to target and to have in mind when you think about, designing solutions. By the way, I don't know who of you ever checked out TikTok. I know it does not have a good reputation, but before the scandal, I was just, clicking around and researching what is it people would share there. And I was really amazed by, the kind of content people shared about blockchain and the way they engaged with this topic. Of course, what is very, very important before you even start to offer blockchain payments is that you create something that people want. That has to be easy to use. It has to be like a nice app that is engaging. You have to go into industries. You have to do things that people really want. So think from the user perspective, that is very, very important. And the only way, if you have something new that you want to bring to mass adoption, and of course it has to be compliant, it has to be legal. So this is definitely has been a challenge, and I'm very happy that the more the years pass by, the more things are regulated, the more things are happening, and the more things are just cleared out, because finally, it was a crazy new thing to regulate, and now it's getting more and more exactly to that point, and there's a growing understanding, not only from the tech community, but also from the regulatory community, how to deal with these new crypto payments. And I mean, one thing you can clearly see some trends in the market, and also where people earn or companies earn a lot of money with, is any KYC, AML solutions, which are super standard now in the blockchain industry. Analytics solutions where you can filter out bad coins or coins that have been used for something illegit. So there's a lot of analytical data you can pull out of the public blockchain ledgers, and some companies have been specialized to do that. So these companies are now providing info to the exchanges, which are then, in case, can provide info to governmental or legislators or whoever needs them, right? The same goes for a custodial solution. Obviously, that's a very, very important thing, because it's still, somebody has to hold these digital values and ensure that they are safe and protected. So there are some companies who have been specializing in that, and they are very, very successful. From the user perspective, the way I see it is that everybody was talking about big disruption, and we bring down the banks, we bring down the payment industry. The way I see it, and I think the most part of the industry has realized that it's just one other thing. It can add a lot of features and a lot of good things to the existing ecosystem, but the existing ecosystem will not just go away, but it has to deal now with the situation that there's a new kid on the block, and it has value. We bring value with these solutions, and one obviously of them is the zero fee payments. Because if you do payments on the blockchain, especially on the Dash blockchain, it will never be expensive. It will always be less than a cent. Different blockchain, different fees, but specifically for Dash, it will be cheap. And this is exactly how it was designed. And it's not only that, but we really now have the possibility to design a token. So it's like a completely different thing to think about token design, how you make an economic design around your token, what is the sell pressure, the buy pressure you want to have, what is the inflation or the deflation rate you want to have. So these are just new things we're still experimenting. But obviously they're opening a lot of doors in terms of what kind of business can you do, or what kind of business opportunities do you provide. And another thing which definitely is one of the most important features in the blockchain space is everything you would call network effects. Because of course, the more people join something and the more people suddenly realize that there is an alternative, the more this movement is accelerating. And I think simply from looking at the user numbers, wallet numbers, I think you can definitely prove that kind of effect. And it also is shown in the products we have. We are talking today mainly about payments, but in this payment space, there is like a whole lot of new applications and new products that can be designed. It's not only payments, it's also really, I can save something, I don't need a middleman to do it. I said before already, it's programmable. You can, it's programmable money. You can program conditions on what you want to do. You can go in and out of stable coins. That it's already possible to have different stable coins that are denominated to different fiat currencies, such as US dollar or euro or Chinese yen or something. It's very easy to switch from one to another without going the classic way of changing money. Yeah, so there's a lot right now coming up. And I think, there's different ways to approach it. As I said before already, it's, for me, it's not that that I can convince anybody that I'm the big disruptor. No, but what we can convince is that we really have an alternative that everybody can use. There is a tested and running infrastructure in the market where money can be sent all around the world for free, essentially, very fast, and this is the story we go out, and this is the story we go out and create use cases. And I think that's one very, very important thing, and especially we with our team here from Dash Next and Dash Thailand have shown, that this is possible. And also in the Philippines, which we have just launched, for us, it's always to start somewhere, grow from there, because obviously the moment you have a use case, it might be very interesting. So in Thailand, to give you some examples, we started with the tourism industry, really saying, hey, there is a lot of people who come to this country and, they have crypto, they like to spend it. Why don't give them options to do so, right? And now this network has grown to hotel platforms, so you can book hotels all around the world, to airlines. In fact, it's millions of hotels you can book with Dash on these various platforms. But in order to do that, and this is a very, very important point, and again, where I don't come as the disruptor and say everybody has to use crypto only. No, that's not the way the payment world works. You have to integrate into these the existing systems, and you have to check, where you can kind of find your place within that and still provide value. And one key feature to do that is to work together with exchanges who are able to provide, converting crypto to fiat in any part of the world and enable bank payouts to any merchant who wants that. And of course, we have expanded in so many different industries, and there is essentially no more vertical that comes without kind of crypto payments. It's hard to find somewhere where it did not arrive yet. Also from the user side, there's a lot of stuff that is happening, not only for investments, especially all the DeFi space is decentralized finance space. I'm sure you have heard about it. It's one of the hippest words in the blockchain industry in 2020, and it opens so many possibilities. So I can send my Dash somewhere, I can stake them, I get, from the algorithm, constant payouts to my wallet address. If I do that, I can, send them to platforms. I can crowdsource the nodes in the network. There's so many things that can be done, and which now are in competition to classical financial products that at this point in time barely give you any yield, right? So from the user perspective, it's definitely a very interesting perspective, especially just by staking something somewhere and get your constant interest rate. That is something many of the cryptocurrencies, including Dash, are very much interested in. Other financial products that we are used to from the main financial industry are in the making or already there, such as futures, perpetual swaps, all that kind of stuff. So the industry is more and more professionalizing, and I think the fact that more and more of these products come out is proof of that. And of course, I just said we started in the Philippines, so this is a market where still many people don't have bank accounts, cash focused societies, and there is still a lot around the world. India, another big example of this. We have like billions of people. The financial industry and payment industry is simply not serving as of now. And again, there is no industry anymore where that we have not touched. I believe main ones definitely would be the retail. I said the travel space already, with millions of hotels. Everything banking, like be your own bank, is kind of the motto of Dash. So there's a lot you can do with your Dash: send it, stake it, have interest, combine it, exchange it, whatever you want. We have entered the payment market now, which then comes definitely back to what I said before with the user personas. And there's many more industry. I mean, there's the CBD, the cannabis, the gambling industry, which are obviously for the payment space, high risk businesses. So sometimes crypto is kind of the savior there, because you can find ways to be compliant and still kind of at least accept a digital payment and do not have to rely on cash payments. And again, it's nice that we disrupt, but whatever that means, what we definitely do with blockchain, and what blockchain is definitely doing for the payment space, is to change some things. International transfer, fast and almost zero fee, is one very, very important thing. But obviously, it's like B2C payments or C2B payments. It's consumer to consumer or peer-to-peer payments, essentially. So, these are definitely use cases that add on into the existing payment ecosystem. And I would argue, what you have to lose if you integrate them. And exactly just to argue, the way we go out and have by now partnered with so many different companies, and the more we go, the bigger it gets. And that's why I'm so happy. Again, we have millions of hotels. You can spend your Dash, on all the big retail stores through our partner network, be it through gift cards or through vouchers or through whatever, but if you want to do it, you can do it. And there's a lot of people doing it. Definitely worth checking out our partner network. You find that on dash.org. Where can I spend Dash? There's one button, click it, and you will see many cool options. Travala, CheapAir are two in the travel industry. Mobile top up is something we have onboarded, I think 2-3 years ago, which is a mobile service, mobile top up service in over 145 countries around the world. We have Bitrefill that exactly enables you to spend your Dash on Amazon, right? So even if these partners do not accept cryptocurrencies yet, we are there and we are very happy, to help integrating. And again, for us, we are a non-profit organization. For us, it's not to go out and make money with the fees we earn when we connect something. For us, it's really a mission to be there, and it's a mission, to provide end-to-end solutions that merchants want, that make sense to them, that are risk-free, that are legal and compliant. And we are here to help exploring these solutions and really help to connect. So that's it for me. I'm looking forward for all your questions and hope I could tell you something you did not know yet. Let's stay in touch. Please reach out. You can reach me on LinkedIn, Felix Mago, M-A-G-O, or on Twitter, Felix Mago _. I hope I hear from you. Have a great conference. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Felix. That was great. We don't have time for any questions, so I'm just going to run straight through into the next session. So please do join us for the Making Payments Secure panel coming up next. Otherwise, you're of course free to look around the rest of the agenda too. So thanks again, Felix, and let's get cracking with the next session.